Welcome to Tiny Hands Big Dreams, here in the Off-Grid Homestead. Last week, we started a kiln project. For the complete explanation of For Fun and Profit and why, go ahead and watch that first video. I'll put the link below. We're going to show you the progress we've made in the next week. I need to make a quick fire grill for the firebox of said kiln. So I'm trying a couple of different ways. I tried heating and bending, and I used a lot of gas, and it made it a little easier. I could use even more gas and get it to like cherry red hot, which I've done before on things, and goes merp, and it makes a nice little radius. Ton of gas. I don't want to do it. And I thought, oh, what if I just cut it a bit and then bend it? Yeah, but it's actually really fragile. The other side broke. I was going to weld it anyway, but now I have to jig it and weld it, which is just slightly more annoying. I got to make several of these. So I found another way. It's one of those, what do you have laying around? Well, I have a log, which I've been cutting the log to make fluff. I can also use the log as an anchor. I drilled the hole of the right length. Give it a couple of quick bends. Ha! Look at that. So, then I can stick it in the other side. Give it a check. This is the bottom for my fire grate, and then I'll stick some straights along the top and give them a quick zap weld. No gas needed. So we decided we're going to build a bridge support for the firebox for the tunnel. We're going to try to build it. Just going to put a support under it. We're going to build on top of it, let it dry thoroughly, and then we can pull this out. We decided to use some trash wood that used to be actually a footbridge over our pond. Termites, ants, things, stuff. It's been sitting out there for a couple of years, and it's got some bad spots, but strangely, there's surprisingly a good amount of real wood left in it. For this application, that's great. Use trash wood. Unfortunately, we missed something. So we're going to come zoom in over here. Unfortunately, yeah, there was a screw hiding in that piece of wood, and it has blown up my beloved joiner. The carbide blades took a hit. That's it. There's not even a way to resharpen that. Like it's blown down pretty deep. That's really upsetting. So that's really sad. I can't get those here. I had been saving the whole joiner in the container for when we actually get to the finish work of the house, so I could use it to make all of the beautiful finish work. Window boxes and things and tables and stuff, and yeah, it leaves a gnarly stripe on things now. which sort of makes it unusable for anything bigger than an inch or two. It's really upsetting. Anyway, let's get back to the kiln. We're going to go sit this in. I'll show you the fire grate that we knocked together real quick, also for the firebox. All right, let's head uphill. Okay, here's where we are at so far. So, firebox. Give you a little bit better perspective. We actually were watching some videos on the internet there, and we actually found an English channel of pottery, like archaeology, I don't know, some sort of center where they do experimental archaeology and pottery and things. And this is actually not terribly far from a Roman kiln, although a bit improved from what they had. So that was interesting. All right, firebox. Now we are gonna, you can see it's marked there, we are gonna recut the center out of this on a slope. So 0 here, ooh, 2 more inches here, down. This is cliff there. To give us a little bit more airflow into the coals, and to give us a little easier time to scrape out ashes. Probably overkill. Now, I knocked together a little fire grate out of some scrap rebar that we had laying in the driveway, which was just a little quick knock together. All right, kid, slide it in there.
It's so light.
Yeah, don't. The clay is soft, so be gentle. Don't drag it. Lift it in. There you go.
Slides in perfectly.
Yeah.
And even with the dents, it has rails, which is nice.
So yeah, that slides in. So this is where we'll load it from. And there is the entry into the kiln. So we come in and we've started to polish the floor a bit. And now we're going to start to build up the walls. And then eventually, over here will be a door. Little by little. We do estimate that currently this is 1,000 pounds of clay and sand, for reference. She's heavy. Look at that. Look how nice that is.
It's gonna look nicer when I smooth it. It's gonna look like that.
All right, we'll get a shot when it's done. A few moments later.
Ew.
You scare easy. I explained to Eli how smooth I want it by there's a 2,700 degree flame with a pile of ash that we have to sweep out. It is searing your face and your hands and your body. How smooth do you want that exit track to be for the ash we have to scrape out? And he goes, so smooth. Yep.
I'll make it so smooth.
Bag of sand. How many bags of sand does it take to make a batch?
2 bags of sand.
2 bags of sand. Good times. Okay. Out of breath from carrying sand. Gonna make another batch here. The kiln goes up. Up, up, up. Where are we at? Well, we have our tapered ash dump. We have our fire grate. We have our temporary support bridge. That is our form for the roof for the firebox. Cup holder. Where would you be without a cup holder, right? So we're also going to have to make some tea mugs that fit into it so you can gently warm your tea while you tend to the kiln. Why not? Other than that, we got about a foot, a little more than a foot, 14 inches of wall. Yeah, we're just slowly working it up. We got to get this a good bit thicker. I want to lay this as a single big slab, so we're gonna come in and finish this, and come back and lay it up to pretty much the cup holder deck. Cup holders used to be a sign of luxury. You could, you know, how nice of a car was how many cup holders it added. Cheap car, 1 or 2. Nice car, ooh, 5 or 6. Now this is our first kiln, so of course it's, you know, it's only got 1. I'm sure we'll add to it at some point. Here we are at, I don't know, what are we, a week in? 2 weeks, 2 weeks. I think the first week we finished, we got the structure in, and the last week and a half we've been working on the clay. So, in the last video we finished and we had barely begun. Now, if you remember the secret directions, the drawing that I did, does it look like it now? We did change a few things. We added some stuff. Let me give you a closer walk. We'll do a looky-loo. As a side note, this little drill has mixed every bit of clay that we've used, which we're approaching a ton, 2,000 pounds, is what you see here. Also, it's mixed every bit of clay that has been applied at their house. Every bit. Look at that. Side note, with this little blender, which I have had to weld and repair because we're wearing it out. Now, the firebox. Hello! You can see a little better. The kid enjoyed polishing the snot out of it, which you did a good job on. So we got the fire grate in there, a piece of wood, the big old fat topper, which is now done. Unfortunately, right, this has the consistency of room temperature cream cheese. Yeah, we could have done it in layers and it would have dried and been more solid, but I kind of thought doing it as a single unified structure may actually get me a little better strength for the application. So there it is. Now, cup holder. Super proud of the cup holder. Excited about that. Banana for scale. That's sort of a normal sized banana too. It's not one of our normal Aritos. Now the reaction chamber, up here where the magic happens, what we're going to see is we have an injection port, comes in at a tangent. We are going to get a counterclockwise swirl because that's the same way the toilet flushes, and we're below the equator, and none of that actually makes a ton of difference. The Coriolis effect and everything else, honestly, it's so minor, it's moot. We just wanted more space on this side to do stuff in stack wood. But the swirl, I won't do it with the phone, the swirl is important. So we come in, and on the bottom layer, a little ramp there. So that will cut back in and give me a little center swirl, and the rest of it, as it comes up, will follow the chamber. Not perfectly round. I want a little bit of vortices and some weirdness, but I want beautiful, even heating. It's a lot of clay. It's a lot of clay. We had polished out the bottom, and then we got it all mucky again. We still got to polish the sides. We'll get that done. It's a little too soft. Like, it's okay over here. No. If we start slapping clay on that, it's gonna be a mess. We gotta wait another day or two. It seems to be about 2 days for a normal batch before I can put another layer. This we did at double height, and yeah, we fought it the first night. I mean, we just kept stacking it, and it just kept flowing out. And we'd scrape the sides and put it back on top, and it would just flow again. Had we had less water, there'd be more voids. It wouldn't have quite the adhesion. You know, there could be fracture lines. With water, we're going to end up with more cracks from drying, and it's more of the warm cream cheese. We'll get there. We'll let it solidify up. We'll keep sort of working it back into shape as it gets a little closer. But it is taking shape. That it is doing. All right. Thanks for joining us on this one. Subscribe for the updates. We will see you for the next one.